Hello everybody. A lot of you were asking for this. Well, a few of you were. Some were asking for a mask tutorial. Some were asking for a Dragon Poet tutorial. Others were asking how I do the blood. Like on my, like on Gravine and stuff. Today, I will be showing you how to do that. First of all, take your mask face or whatever you're going to use. I'm choosing a mask face. And yes, depending on what happens to this mask, it will most likely be for sale on my Etsy, which we are super close to getting set up. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeet. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to use my paint tray for this because I can. First of all, you're going to need paper towels, an art tray or a paper plate, a glass of water, your base color, whatever you're using for your blood splatter. To finish your mask, you're going to want the PVC eye mesh. I can't speak today. You're going to want your paint brushes. And you're going to want your mask face. And if your mask face doesn't have elastic, then you need to get elastic. Also, I recommend getting a hot glue gun and getting it warmed up while you wait. Anyway. First task is to paint your base color. I'm going to fully paint mine white. I forgot that this is broken. So what I do, after it comes off, is I take the hot glue gun. Yes, I know mine's really beat up. But I put it in there, and I put a little bit of hot glue. And then I take this, and I shove it in here. And it's now re-glued. And I'll have to worry about it coming out again. My door! Why do you just leave it open like that? Like, bro, if you're gonna come in my room, at least close my door.
Carbunculus.
Alright, I have fully painted my mask base. But now I need to wait for it to dry. And so do you. Don't be impatient. Alright, now that you have your painted mask base, Teddy boy, I recommend having clean hands for this, or else the paint is going to transfer from your hands onto your mask. Happens a lot. You can basically use any brush for this, but I recommend using the fan brushes. As you can see, mine's tainted red because I used it too much. But I'm going to I'm choosing like whatever that says. I use this a lot, so it's almost empty. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. I'm gonna put that in my tray. Choose where you want your blood splatter. Like I'm gonna do blood splatter across the eye here. Don't get it too, like, recommend wiping it off a bit. Take it, start from the position you want it, and then, like, fan it outwards. Start in the position you want it, paintbrush facing tip side towards you, and then brush outwards with it. Wear clothes that you don't mind getting ruined or are already junk clothes, because you will get paint on yourself. You will 100% get paint on yourself, no matter how careful you are with this brush. I highly recommend going in with either a light black mixed with it or a slightly darker red, because it gives it that, like, I don't really know how to describe it, but it gives it a certain feel. Is it like a more, like a certain detail-esque? Kind of like... I highly recommend after your paint is used up that you go and dry brush it. Like so, because it'll give you that blood splattered look. Like so. Make it however big or small as you please. Remember, if it's your first time doing something like this, it does not have to look perfect. Or even remotely perfect. See, kind of like this-esque. Like a blood splattery kind of feel to it. Here we go. Here's like a bloodshot-esque. Now take your black, very, very lightly, put it on your brush, and then put that some over it. Grab whatever color you're using. Grab your secondary color, you're going to mainly dip that in first. Take this and brush it when you want it. It gives it a very dimensional and really cool-esque look, in my opinion. Personally, one of my favorite ways to make a bloody mask or something. See? See? Makes it look a lot cooler. Remember to clean your brush off. Always, 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 always. Never forget it. Here's my finished product. This will probably be up for sale, so if you love this design, this will be up for sale. Yes. The very last thing I'm going to show you guys is how to make eyes. Grab your thing. Make sure that you can do both eyes. For example, I'm going to cut this in half. I recommend using, I don't know what kind of fish car or whatever brand scissors these are. These are really good scissors. Cut through PVC pipe, PVC mesh super easily. But if you line it up properly inside of the mask, you can see how much of each piece you need to use. Well, I'm going to show you guys eyes, and then I'm going to show you guys padding, so you guys aren't stabbing yourselves with the eye mesh. Also, if you're using scissors or an X-Acto knife, please, please, please be careful. It is very easy to accidentally cut yourself. Okay, so once again, grab your paint tray, I have to adjust myself here. Scrub your eyes as well. Grab a decent sized paintbrush. Grab the color you're going to be using. I'm going to be painting these black. And start painting the first side. Make sure there's no bubbles and that is properly covered before switching the side you are painting on. I highly recommend, whatever the base color of your eye is, painting the same color on the back, but I recommend painting black on backs if you can, because it's a lot easier to see out of black than any other color. If you need to grab another brush or a toothpick to get the bubbles out, that is perfectly fine as well. Always wait for the first coat of paint on your eyes to dry, or else it will smear and you'll get a mixture of colors. So once your eyes are both dry, or however many eyes you have, once again, bring back your lovely board, or whatever you're using. Actually, take your mask, flip it over, towards this side, grasp it like this. It also just occurred to me that I've left this hot glue gun plugged in for like 2 hours straight. I have a problem. Go gently around the edges of the eyes. I say gently because if you position it incorrectly, god dang it may shine through with the eyes. So you have to be extremely careful with them. Also be extremely careful when handling a hot glue gun. You can and probably will end up burning yourself. I speak from experience. Many times of experience, actually. I recommend also doing this part with clean hands. I am not, because quite frankly, I don't necessarily care too much. God dang. Yeah, there's like this one string of hot glue that's not wanting to come out. Glue both your eyes in. If it is a small design and you can just paint it on the mesh. If it's not a small design, take your eye, paint your design on it, and then glue it in. Also, I apologize for the bad lighting in this. I'm currently just sort of doing this on my bedroom floor. So, like... hot glue takes a second. Let it fully dry, or your eyes will continue to pop out. And this is just how to paint a mask like this. I'll probably make a felted version of this. So, I don't know. I'm not just gonna do straight up black eyes like this. Of course, I have to make them detailed. But my details I'm choosing, very simple. I'm just adding tiny white pupils. If you have to repaint an area, wait for that area to dry before repainting it. Or yes, you will end up with smudged. I couldn't find my elastic for a hot minute, but I found it. And this one now has elastic. Perfect. But now I shall show you how to put in padding. You can really use whatever fabric you want. I just use a thicker piece of felt, but you take your mask, your wonderful, wonderful mask, and you take a pair of scissors and you roughly cut the size you need. I recommend putting it in a double. So you take one, grab your hot glue gun, and you glue it together. This creates a little thicker padding. I don't line my masks. I find it time consuming when I can just glue 2 pieces of felt together and put it in the shape I need on the mask. Don't question my ways. I've only been doing this since July of 2024, so. Only about 7 months. In here. You place glue. Actually, don't put it on the mask. Put it on your padding. Take said padding and stick it right where you need it. It will be very hot. I will warn you of that. I shouldn't have to warn you of that, but I will. It's hot glue. Hot glue is hot. Anyway, I normally take about a square and cut it. And then I cut it. I normally like round it out a little bit first. After I round it out, I make a thicker piece, like so, out of it. But I make it about the size of the eyes, and I put it around the eye for padding. His eyes big rings. I'm using a dual temp hot glue gun, so I recommend using flow for this part. Unless felting, I do recommend using a lower hot glue setting, because you can and will end up burning yourself. Ow. For example. Damn. Okay, I might have to... I'll get that in a second. Make sure it doesn't get in the way of the eye, though. Make sure you can still see through the eye perfectly fine, and likewise. Try, to your best abilities, not to burn yourselves, like me. I do that all the time, so. Teddy boy! Did you get it? Repeat on both sides. So after making your padding for the nose and eyes, take the 2 you used for the eyes, and you guessed it, glue them together. This creates a thicker padding. like I've said before, thick. The thicker the better. Sometimes. Only in some scenarios. And you're going to want to glue it onto the forehead. After, of course, you round it out. Rounding it out is a choice. I choose to round mine out. So it's a forehead. And then I glue it on. As soon as I get the hot glue out of the way. So, this should be all the padding you need. It's just around the eyes on the forehead, which I glued a little too high up, but it's fine. On the nose. If you choose to, you can add padding on the cheeks. But other than that, that is how you make a mask. And do the blood splatter technique. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and thank you all so much for your support. Have a lovely rest of your day, night, or evening. Bye guys.